And then we'll end it up with Ring in the Holiday. My good buddy, Jim Knight 888, went out and bought this Christmas. This is the Christmas WWE DVD. And he basically said that it wasn't a must-own. It's like a few of the WWE Walmart exclusive DVDs, like Brothers of Destruction, or, oh, damn, what was that one DVD that Walmart came out with, like, 10 years ago? Like, it wasn't like top 50 moments, but it was like most electrifying moments. Or, when Knuckleheads came out, they had an exclusive DVD at Walmart where it was called, I think it might have just been called Knuckleheads at WWE or something stupid like that. But just DVDs you watch once and then you never watch ever again. This is probably going to be another one of those. Toasted by none other than Mick Foley. And, oh shoot, what's his daughter's name? Noelle Foley. There you go. You've got, stupid stuff on here like Balls Mahoney wrestling in WWE as Santa Claus, but it was spelled with an X. He was the bad Santa. You've got, what is this? Is this Cena versus Del Rio, where Del Rio kills Santa? Oh, baby. Wow. Alicia Fox there is Santa there in the middle for you. There with, that's definitely Naomi. And that might be, I'm not sure who the blonde is there. Might be Emma, but I'm not sure. But we see the Boiler Room Brawl, Mankind versus Santa Claus from Monday Night Raw of 1999. We see Santa Claus versus Scott Taylor. We see Santa's Little Helper, a 6-diva tag match. Lisa Fox, Emma, Naomi. Oh, it is Emma. Oh, Paige, Cameron, and Summer Rae. Then we see Tajiri versus Bubba Claus. We see Bobby Heenan Ruins Christmas, 1989 Primetime Wrestling. I'll take any Primetime Wrestling I can get on any DVD. So maybe I'll save this and I'll check this out come next Christmas. But, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Kofi Kingston, Paige. You've got John Cena. You've got Hornswoggle, and you got Mick Foley. This is actually drawn by Jerry Lawler. You can see it down there in the corner. It looks like his art that we've seen in the past. But, man. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Last night, I wanted to go back into the wrestling history and watch some sort of wrestling. As you know, over the last little while, I've been trying to watch a lot more wrestling on the days where basically I don't have anything to do. And, the one thing that I've been sort of watching is like classic wrestling from like the 90s. We were watching some Saturday Night's Main Events. I believe we watched the Survivor Series. We watched Survivor Series 1992 to see that horrible debacle, what's supposed to be the ultimate main event of the Ultimate Maniacs versus Ric Flair and Razor Ramon, but it ended up, Ultimate Warrior got fired the week of the event, and he had to end up being replaced. But last night, I made a bad choice. I have had this DVD in my collection, honestly, since about 2016, I believe this came out, in order to be on time for Christmas. And WWE ran this on a $5 Friday. $5 Friday was an awesome deal that they used to do on WWE Shop all the time. They would sell pops, they would sell older t-shirts, they would sell DVDs, they would sell Blu-rays. It was just kind of like the way they wanted to clearance things out and get them out of the warehouse faster than just doing a normal clearance sale. And I was on those things. It really helped to keep my DVD collection going, because around 2016 is when the financial crunch at the Breach House really started happening, and that's the reason why I had this. It sat on the shelf for damn near 7 to 8 years, I'm guessing. But last night I said, WWE made that Christmas DVD. And I want to check it out. I'm already into the Christmas movies. Here we are in mid-November. I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles last year. I found that one. That was a great movie that I hadn't seen in years. And I was like, oh, that's a Thanksgiving movie. I need to sort of watch that every year. And then right after that, I was like, I gotta keep going here. So I jumped in. I watched Four Christmases because I was thinking about that a while back, with Tim McGraw in it and him being an actor. So I jumped into that. That led me to Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn. But Christmas, it's here. No tree yet, but me and the kids have committed to Friday putting that up. But this year was a very bad choice. This DVD just went on and on and on. I want to guess that this might be an approximate runtime of 3 hours. This DVD did not need to be longer than an hour. Sometimes, you know, they do these DVDs where it's just like, you know the kind that WWE has made in the past. There's no intro. There's no selection screen that pops up. There's no menu. You just put it in and it just starts playing, and it's just a 1 hour best of kind of thing. You don't need to skip around. But this one, it had match after match after match, and a lot of them weren't that good. And the one thing that grew on me more than anything else is that there was one really, really good match. It was Randy Orton versus David Otunga. It was a Miracle on 34th Street fight. I believe that match happened on SmackDown in 2011, and they showed that one, and then I think they showed 2 more matches that they basically did the same thing. They ended up with John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio, and then it was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, which was the last match of 2014. The King, Jerry Lawler, who drew this very awesome drawing that is on the cover of this is Ring in the Holiday, WWE's greatest holiday matches and moments. I started looking for this, and I could not find it on the shelf, even though I knew I was looking for a Christmas selection. I honestly thought it was called, like, WWE Christmas or something like this, but it took me a little bit to find it. My DVDs in the WWE section are not in the best order. They haven't been that way, honestly, in a long time. I need to do a revamp on that entire side of the wall. But Jerry Lawler makes the same joke almost in every match that has a Christmas feel to it. That basically, it also happened during the Damian Sandow versus Mark Henry match. The King says, when you stop believing in Santa Claus, that's when you start getting clothes for Christmas. And by the last time he said it, I didn't even want to finish the match. The match, honestly, that fills this out, it would probably be one of the biggest matches if it was a shorter runtime. But it was the Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, which happened right before Christmas of 2014. Probably a week, maybe 2 weeks out of Ambrose and Bray Wyatt main eventing the TLC 2014 pay-per-view. I've always said that wrestling in December, to me, is kind of missable. I know that they ran the TLC pay-per-view for years in December, but this year, as well as last year, WWE decided not to run a pay-per-view in the month of December. Nothing between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. I think, honestly, they're learning. People in that time of the holidays, they get packed. My work gets really busy. A lot of people, some people have real jobs where they actually get time off. And there's just other things. There's always, you got to be going from family members to family members' house because everybody has their way of celebrating, and certain people they celebrate with, and they don't want to miss people. So you're doing like Christmases on weird random days. And there probably is some wrestling fan out there who's like, I don't miss Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Whatever day it's on, I am going to watch it. That's just not the way it works. And like in the heyday of like me making videos here on YouTube from like 2011 to 2014, I didn't barely watch anything. I just was working. Most of the time, by the time I got off, a pay-per-view was over, or WWE Raw, I already missed it because of it being on the West Coast, not wanting to watch the rerun, and it just was like, I don't care. It is what it is. I will tell you this much. The sort of thing that strings all of the matches together is Mick Foley and Noelle Foley going to Santa's Village, I believe is what it's called, in New Hampshire. It reminded me, I'm not going to say it's as good as, but it reminded me a lot of Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon on like the USA weekend show, whether if you called it All-American Wrestling, whether if you called it Wrestling Challenge. Those skits that they used to do, where they would be on a cruise, or they'd be at the casino for WrestleMania 4, whether they were at the miniature golf course, whether there was always some hijinks going on with the show would end with Gorilla getting the better of Bobby Heenan. We all watched that show back in the day. It was jobber match after jobber match. And the most entertaining thing was the skits that happened in between. It reminded me of it. It's not as good as, I don't know, at one point they find Santa Claus, and Santa Claus looks less like Santa than Mick Foley looks as Santa. I didn't think Santa was that good, but they probably filmed this in like March or April to get it out in time for the holidays, and Santa wasn't in Santa duty. Like I said, really, really long. Not the most memorable things on this. It's pretty missable, honestly, to tell you the truth. And I remember that when Jim made a video for this, when it first came out, he basically said the same thing, and I should have listened to him. DVD opens with a match from 1999. I would have thought it happened on like an episode of WWE Sunday Night Heat. But I guess it was from Monday Night Raw, it says. Mankind has a boiler room brawl with Santa Claus, where Mankind is booked in this match, says that he knows it has to happen. So he goes into the boiler room, ends up running into Santa Claus, and him and Santa kind of like say, hey, everything's cool, we don't have to do this. And next thing you know, Mankind's jumped by 3 Santas. Those Santas were like WWE extras, and extras from like the late 90s don't even look like wrestlers. But it ends up, after he beats those guys up and he's trying to leave, he gets jumped by the Outlaws, and it turns into a whole ordeal with basically Mankind versus Santa Claus DXs. Pretty fun way to kick this off, but it dies pretty fast. We go from there to the match from JBL versus Mick Foley. That happened on a tribute for the troops over in Iraq. You see the match happen where JBL is playing Santa Claus and basically is going to cancel all the holidays. He starts getting booed, and then Mick Foley as Santa comes down to make the save. We have a very fast Superstars match of Santa Claus, who was Balls Mahoney. Before he was Balls Mahoney, when he was in WWE, and they gave him the gimmick of Santa Claus with an X and a K. And he was the opposite Bad Santa who wore black and red. I believe he was managed by Ted DiBiase. Where they were going with that, I got no clue, because the match that they chose aired December 23rd, 1995. What was his gimmick going to be come March, April? Were they going to bring in a bad, Easter bunny for him to fight? I got no clue. From there we go to Tajiri versus Bubba of the Dudley Boys, both dressed as Santa Claus, having a match on Monday Night Raw. We got Bobby Heenan ruins Christmas on Primetime Wrestling, where he's trying to portray Santa, but also trying to tell all the kids that are watching. This aired actually on Christmas night on Primetime Wrestling. Yes, Primetime Wrestling was what Monday Night Raw was, so this aired between 9 and 11, and how many kids were really watching? I'll tell you, in 1989, I wasn't watching Primetime Wrestling. I wish I would have been. But it is kind of taboo that Heenan was saying Santa is not real and ends up pissing off Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper is on a set that looks like he's supposed to be at his house. Gets so upset that he walks off the set and walks over to the desk set that Heenan's on and beats the hell out of him to end the show. But he's portraying to all the kids that, believe in Santa Claus. Hey, he's not calling him Santa. It's Santa Claus is the way the Piper's pronouncing it. We get a surprise on Monday Night Raw of Santino Marella and Beth Phoenix challenging John Cena and a mystery partner. John Cena comes out and basically says that Santa Claus granted his wish. They're in Toronto, and his present is Trish Stratus making her return after she had left WWE. I believe she had been gone for about a year or 2 years at that point, so this was a big return for her. Wrestles in the main event. They pick up the win. Kofi versus Tyson Kidd. I don't really know why this match was on there other than the announcers. Michael Cole was dressed up as like a reindeer, and Kofi goes over and basically punks Michael Cole for the reindeer head and nose and puts it on in the match, gets the win. We got the Miracle on 34th Street fight, Orton versus Otunga. Match gets broken up by Wade Barrett. Otunga tries to retreat, and Randy Orton is throwing presents at him as he runs up the stage. Pretty good match. We have an All I Want for Christmas Battle Royal. That was won by Hornswoggle when he basically tricked Sheamus into getting eliminated to get the win. And then basically his present that he asked Santa for winning the match, he ended up asking for the ability to speak, which really surprised Roddy Piper and Dusty Rhodes, who ended up putting back their spiked eggnog because they were drunk enough, it seems. What the fuck was it? Was an accident. I believe it was an accident is what set up the Miracle on 34th Street fight between John Cena and Alberto Del Rio, when Del Rio was making his entrance on Monday Night Raw and ran over Santa Claus with his car. They basically said that Santa needed to get transported to a local hospital, that he was not looking good, but it ends up Mick Foley as Santa makes his return during the match. John Cena gets the win. All of us go home happy. The one thing that's funny about the Miracle on 34th Street is that they filmed this when they used to give WWE wrestlers like a 2-week break for Christmas to New Year's. No, it's not till New Year's, because they always did the Garden Show like right after Christmas. But they would give them like 2 weeks off, which is like pretty much for a lot of the guys the longest break they get of the year. And they filmed this. Del Rio is a heel. When they come back, Del Rio is automatically a magical babyface. Somewhere along the way, he wins the World Heavyweight Championship. And he's like the champion as a babyface on SmackDown to kick off the new year. I still don't remember why or how they did that, but one day bad guy, next day good guy, best guy he can be. I don't know. We had Good Santa versus Bad Santa, Mark Henry versus Damian Sandow, Christmas on a Pole, where Fandango wins an Intercontinental Championship match on the next edition of Monday Night Raw, where he takes on Big E. We had a Divas match, which I think they really needed more of. It was Alicia Fox, Emma, and Naomi wrestling against Paige, Cameron, and Summer Rae. I did not understand or remember why Paige, who I always kind of remember as always being a babyface, was wrestling with the heels. But maybe that's just how many divas they had on the card that night. And then it finishes off with Ambrose versus Wyatt. Honestly, really should have been a really good match. But I think after 3 hours of watching WWE Christmas matches, I was just done. Those guys had main evented the TLC 2014 show probably a week, maybe 2 weeks beforehand. And they went all out. They used the Christmas presents. They used the wreath. They used this, that, and the other. And Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt ends up being the one who got the win in that match, which was kind of surprising that the heel did. But there we go. Ring in the holidays. I'm going to tell you the truth, it wasn't good. It wasn't great. I wouldn't tell you to pop this in on your March to Christmas. It is what it is. I'm sure it lives on a lot of people's DVD shelves, just like mine, and I'm glad that I got to bust mine out. I ripped off the wrapper to put this sucker in, and it was pretty dusty. Peace out, guys. See y'all down the road.